What's up, everybody? We are back at Around the Mat Pod. I am your host, PJ North. We are back for another week. It is episode 11 here at Around the Mat, season 2. And things are heating up, obviously, with WrestleMania coming up and all those things. So we're going to talk all about it. But before we do that, if you're watching live on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know in the comments that you're watching. Let us know your feedback on what we're talking about. We'd love to hear about it. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to leave us a review, 1-star, 5-star, whatever you're feeling. Comments on the Spotify video as well. And don't forget to follow us on all social medias at AroundTheMatPod. Made it super easy for everybody. So check us out. We're super active on Twitter, on Instagram, on all those things. So make sure you give us a like and follow. And with that being said, let's get into it. Bringing back the homie, Young T.Y. Tyler Miller, what's good, baby?
What is going on, man? I'm definitely glad to be back. Had a good Dynamite last night. Hopefully leading up to a good Dynasty this weekend. Raw was great. SmackDown actually wasn't bad this week either. So it's been a good week.
Yeah, it had to have been the European crowd thing that helped with SmackDown. It is a big week, man. We got a lot of things going on. Dynasty, and then a week off before Mania. And we're going to take a little look ahead at what we're talking about this season here on, obviously we're 11 episodes in, but as we continue on, Mania is obviously a busy part of the season. So it's always good to look ahead and be prepared. But I think wrestling right now is as popular as it's been. Someone asked me in my wrestling chat, I can't believe I'm giving a shout out to Adam. He's my arch nemesis, but he asked, what do you feel like your peak fandom was? And this isn't a random question. This is like, when do you think your peak years were as a fan? And I was like, honestly, I'd have to say right now. Like, obviously, for me, the indie run of like 06 to 10 was really big for me because I just graduated high school and I was able to drive to shows, and I was going to Dayton to see Ring of Honor, and TNA was pretty popping at that time too, and I was buying DVDs. I had like a huge collection of PWG. I was like, I was as in it as could be, right, at that point. And I wasn't really watching much WWE at the time. Like, I was watching it and I'd go to shows, but like, I was into the indie thing, man. If they didn't wrestle at Ring of Honor, I didn't want to hear it, And so that was like peak fandom for me too. But I would say right now, from when I was a little kid, it's never really stopped, right? It's kind of ups and downs and whatever. But what about you, man? What would you say your peak fandom is? What years?
I would have to say it's probably a tie for me between definitely now. Of course, going to a lot more shows as I'm older, understanding it a lot more.
Yeah.
I feel like one thing that I, as an adult, that I don't like about it as much, and maybe the internet plays into this, but it just dissecting it as much as I do.
Man, yeah, dude.
Like kind of like everybody does. But also I would say that during the Ruthless Aggression era, like right when that was starting to pop off,
yeah,
a lot of people didn't like it, but I did. You had a lot of young stars coming in.
Yeah.
They're still pushing, it was different in a different way. But similar to the Attitude Era, they were still continuing to push the envelope. And, I was really starting to understand it, and definitely say the Ruthless Aggression Era for sure.
Yeah, man, it's crazy to think about, like, when you got started as a fan to where we are now as a fan. Like, if you just started 10 years ago, the business is so different. And if you started 30 years ago like I did, over 30 years, I've been a fan since basically, I remember watching WrestleMania 9, 8 more. I remember watching WrestleMania 9 with my brother and his friends, our next door neighbors. But I also remember vividly watching Royal Rumble where Yokozuna won. So like, I was like peak fandom as a kid because my brother and sister watched it, but like I just never grew out of it. And yeah, it's crazy to think about how much the business has changed in 30 years that I've been watching, 30 plus years that I've been watching, which is crazy to think about too, that I've been doing anything for over 30 years. God, I'm getting old. Shit.
That's a long time. And I'm just about the same. I started watching probably before I can remember, probably 1-2 years old, because my dad and brother, they always watched it.
Right.
And I guess probably the first thing that I remember really is just very briefly of Hogan and Sting at Starrcade.
Okay.
And I mean, what better, I guess, depending on who you ask, what better of a match to to kind of introduce.
When you're a kid, it's all big. It's not like, I think that's a tough thing as we get adults. Obviously here we're talking about our opinions, right? Because we're watching it so much. But like, when you're watching it as a kid, it's just like everything is so awesome. It doesn't matter, right? It's like from the top to the, but there's no beginning, there's no mid carders. There's just the guys you like, the guys you don't like, and that's it. So interesting to think about, but yeah, man, fandom right now is I would say it's up there. Just Cody's champion. He's probably the first world champion where I was emotionally invested. So I think 1,000% right now would be peak fandom. But all right, let's get into it as we talk about Cody. The headlines this week, Raw, man. It kicked off with Cena and Cody. And Cena was absolutely cooking with gasoline. He was crushing it. The first time he did the promo, 2 weeks ago, I really felt like he was like very rehearsed acting it. And this time I really felt like even more passionate, like he's leaned into the heel, like F you to the people, right? And I really loved it. Obviously, I think Cody's the best promo, one of the best promos in wrestling. I would say he's probably top promo. He's just, his vernacular is, he's articulate, he's able to speak. So I just really love that part. I honestly, dude, I fast forwarded like through most of the rest of Raw because like I was so taken aback by that. I was just like, holy shit. And I watched it, but like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like as attentive as that was. That was 20 minutes or 20 some odd minutes of that was the opening promo. And I was just like blown away. I would say Cena got the better of Cody on that one. I think Cody crushed him the first time. And I think Cena bounced back. So I think it's 1-1 on the promos right now. What about you, man? What do you think about Cena versus Cody promo on Monday?
Dude, I thought it was awesome. And you know, I think everybody knows like my love-hate relationship with Cody. More so on the hate side, but you know, with the stuff that he's been doing lately, man, how can you not enjoy it? I mean, that promo that he cut on Cena, that was probably one of the best promos I've heard in a long time. Like I even texted my brother, dude, this is like Cena just so cooked by Cody.
Yeah.
And you know, I really enjoyed it. And Cena also, of course, definitely held his own too. I mean, of course, that's what he's supposed to do.
I think he's really, really doing it. I mean, he's always been one of the best, but like he's like, he's on that shit right now.
As far as like, I feel like he's just kind of trickled in each week and just made it much, much better. Like this week was better than last week, and last week was better than the week before. Yeah. And I really like how they let him, you know, go back and forth this week versus Cena's going to talk, then Cody talks, and then that's the end of it. And then
I liked how they swapped it around and they made it a little different. And Cody came out there before he ever said a word. I was like, all right, they're doing it. It is definitely, I get the formula, but it's a great, I love, hey, the formula works, baby. You know what I'm saying? I don't ask McDonald's how they make chicken nuggets, brother. Just give me
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I think that pretty much this is just going to show that as much as I hate to say it, I mean, Cody is pretty much like Lex Luger. He's the total package, you know, he's can put on a hell of a 5-star match. He can, you know, cut a great promo in there with the best of them, like John Cena. Yeah. And I mean, you just can't deny that. And I really enjoyed it. I did also, like you said, fast forwarded most of the end of Raw after that.
I mean, I watched it, but like I wasn't like attentively paying attention. I think that's a good and the bad thing. I mean, you send out your hammers out there early, brother. Why even watch the rest of it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I think that's a. I like that they brought New Catch Republic back. The rest of Raw, you know, as we talk about Cody and Cena, but the rest of Raw was good. But like I said, you know, one of the things that the chat is going on about is Europe, and they're over it. They're over the crowd. All right, we need to bring it back home. And I'm like, dog, if they showed every episode in Europe for the rest of the year, I'd be cool with it. I just think that the crowd is better. I don't get annoyed by the chants. I think that the American audience is so self-involved that they're not involved with the show sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I'll tell you this. I almost hate going to American shows. Every time, I've never been to a British show or a foreign show, but every time I go, I'm sat by the worst fans trying to mark themselves out, trying to get themselves over in the crowd. And I'm like, none of you, this show is not for you. We are not here for it. I hate it so much, man. Every time I go, it's the worst. And that bothers me. And so the British crowds, everybody's singing the same thing. I don't think they make it about themselves. I think that they're added to the show, which I think is good. So I don't know. I don't really mind them doing the whole thing in Europe for the last few weeks. And I'm interested to see. Obviously, they're in Chicago, I think, for SmackDown tomorrow. So they're back in America.
Something that's been bugging me, dude, and I don't know if it's just me, but what do you think about the drone shots? Because I'm kind of over them.
Hold on. The drone, whatever camera they're using on the drone, is the absolute most dog shit camera of all time.
Yeah.
Dude, so again, in racing, we see drone footage all the time. I see literally drone footage all the time. They use it on the racetracks, all stuff. So I'm used to it also being live streamed with a drone. I have never once seen a bad version. Now, I don't know if it's the lighting that causes their drone camera to be bad, but it is absolute dog shit.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible,
worst.
dude.
It is the worst thing going in WWE production.
And coming from, a multi-billion-dollar company, they always like to throw around, how much that Netflix deal is. Like, come on, dude, can't you guys get a better drone?
I don't know, man. Maybe there's something behind it that they can't tell us, but I know it is dog shit. I hate it. It's so bad. It's funny that you brought that up. You're talking about Cody. Who would you want as your world champion right now? Like, who do you want to be world champion if it's not Cody? Or WWE champion, not world champion, but
honestly, I would like to see Rollins with it again.
Okay, I love Rollins too, so that's fair.
I do just think Cody with the champion, it's good. It's been good so far. But just of course that chase, Cody, and of course we don't know if it would be the similar story if it was not the quote unquote story and him chasing Roman Reigns.
I will say that the thing about Roman Reigns being the story is that Roman really wasn't the story for me. Like, it was just like Cody is there and Roman happened to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, for me, and again, that's not like Roman hate. That's just like, I don't think Roman's ever done anything by himself. Like, I don't think Roman has ever made any of the stories. Everything that Roman's been a part of, someone else, and that is obviously a little hater of me, but at the same time, like, objectively thinking about it, Cody's story is Cody's story regardless of if Roman's the champion, right? That's why I'm saying Cody made it, not Roman. But I do get what you're saying. So I would love to. I do love Seth. I mean, I think Seth's amazing as well. I don't know if he'll ever touch the WWE title again.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm okay with with Cody being the champ for now. You know, it's been well so far. Sure. I mean, can't complain about any of the matches that he's had so far. I would like to see him go up against Orton, which I do. If he
wins, I think that has to happen, right?
Yeah, I do think it's going to come eventually. Yeah. If he wins at Mania,
especially because Cena is Orton's. Like, they are tied together. They had the most world title matches against one another, right? I think for Cena. So
I think so.
That would be awesome. And then Cody and I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to go about it. And the post WrestleMania discussion, I can't wait because there's always a little bit of a lull in wrestling after WrestleMania. So I'm interested to see where it goes, which we'll talk about in a few weeks. It's not that long. I mean, we are edging up closely to WrestleMania. Along the lines of SmackDown, Rey Fenix is debuting, I believe tomorrow. Was that what we saw, or is he going to be on? I think that's what we kind of saw, right? Is that what we're
I believe that's what their plan is for him.
The reason this is the second headline here. Rey Fenix debuting, I think. Every day in our chat, there's the conversation of Tony fumbled. Rey Fenix, Penta has been great. Cody has been great, but that's Cody. I don't think that anybody else. It doesn't matter where he went. He's Cody Rhodes. Jade was a bit lackluster at first, and now it's better. And I love Jade, so like, obviously that's I think that would have been good. But like, to say Tony fumbled with Ricky Saints and Paige is tough for me, and I don't know that he fumbled Penta or Rey. I understand that everybody's upset that Rey didn't get released sooner and his contract and all that stuff, but at the same time, I don't know, man. For me, I'm excited for Rey to debut. I just don't think WWE does very well with luchadors. It's been shown time and time again. Rey Mysterio is the only luchador. If you want to count Alberto Del Rio, we can count him too. Okay, there's 2. But like they just don't. It doesn't translate well. Look at Andrade. Andrade went back and he's done nothing. He's had great matches because that's what Andrade does. I don't know, man. I'm excited to see Rey Fenix, but do you think they're going to be able to have 2? Like, are they going to be able to have 2 luchadors now at the top? Because now you're talking about putting Penta at the top, and now Rey's going to be at the top too? Let's not forget they still have Dragon Lee. They still have all the LWO. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know that there's just not enough space, and I don't know that they do a very good job with that translation. What say you, man? Rey Fenix debut.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. I mean, like you said, there's usually just proven throughout history they don't do well with luchadors. And I mean, if you're pushing one to the top and now you're potentially trying to push a second one to the top, I don't think that's going to work. I do think that the best thing that they could have done is probably booked them in a tag team, which of course is kind of, you can't really do that now because Penta's got his own thing going on. He's been involved with Braun Breaker and the Intercontinental title. So I think they've kind of, booked themselves in a corner with that when they probably knew more than likely Rey Fenix was coming there.
Right.
But I think we're going to see, I hope we don't, but I think we're going to see a watered down version of what we saw in AEW, and his moveset is going to be limited, which I hope we don't, but I think we will.
Yeah. Last thing I want to hear is Michael Cole butcher more of his moves with some other cornball name like Mexican Destroyer. Yeah, that's a good point too, man. I just don't know. Like, I'm excited. I'm not knocking it. I think it's going to be good for him. Are they going to call him just Phoenix, though? They're not going to call him Rey Fenix? I don't know if they've announced that yet or not. I don't know. I need to look into that because I think that's a big thing, too. Penta obviously didn't own his name. So Penta has had to change his name multiple times because he didn't own the original. So that's why he's changed his name multiple times. Rey Fenix does, I do believe, own Rey Fenix. So, or at least, like, he can use it. There's no, like, conflict. Which that was the whole thing with Penta. AAA owned it and he wasn't allowed to use it, so he said to change his name 3 times. And I don't know. I don't love that either. Unless it's the wrestler's decision, I don't get why WWE changed it, but that's the song for another time. I don't know. I'm interested to see what he does. I am concerned, though, that he just flails. Like, I think the LWO is the worst thing on TV. So bad. Them and the Wyatt Six should have a fight to the death, and the loser never gets seen on TV again in that gimmick. And I wish they would both lose. Is that possible? That's how I feel about that. So I don't know, man. For me, I am excited and open-minded to see what Rey Fenix does. It will be interesting to see how it goes because there's only one day. You only get one debut, one chance to make a first impression, and your brother they have done such a good job with Penta. You can't do the exact same storyline with Phoenix, I don't think, like right at the same time. I'm not saying you can't do the same storyline thing that they've done for 57,000 years in wrestling, but should you really be doing the same thing at the same time with 2 brothers? I don't know. So,
and as far as you go back to Tony fumbling the bag or whatever, as we say, I don't think he did with Phoenix and Paige, but some of the other stars, I think probably he could have and should have kept on to, as far as Ricky Saints, Jade Cargill, those were young comers.
I do agree with Ricky and Jade if they could have. I think that there's obviously some sort of disconnect between Jade and how that whole thing worked out at AEW, and the same with Ricky. I don't quite understand a lot of that. I'm sure he was being punished a little bit of like hanging out with Cody a lot and understanding that, like, yes, it's your personal life, you can do what you want, and I'm sure that played into it a little bit. However, there is not enough room on either roster for all these. I would just like to note that again. There is not enough room for all of these wrestlers on all these. There isn't. AEW's roster's bloated. Rusev just signed with WWE, supposedly. I don't know if we're listening to Mike Johnson, but whatever. But, like, did Tony fumble him? No. Rusev wasn't good in WWE in the sense of, like, he never got over after the tank thing at Mania. Just like he never got over in AEW. Aleister Black. Aleister was great in NXT. His main roster, he didn't do well, and he didn't do well in AEW to a certain extent. The House of Black was cool, but he never won. So, like, I don't know that Tony fumbled. I just don't think there's enough space for all these people to be at the top.
Yeah.
And, like, that's pro wrestling, baby. There's not 40 companies. There's only 2 in America that are major. We'll count TNA. But, like, from that perspective, there is enough wrestling to go around. Like, I'm not saying these guys can't make it everywhere else. I'm just saying, like, there's only so much TV time on AEW and WWE. So, like,
and AEW, they're still making, still signing people. And it's like, dude, you guys are, what is going on?
It's the WCW effect, man. They used to do that shit all the time. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Time will tell, as it were. Like I said, who Tony fumbled and who he didn't fumble. And I just think that that's stupid. I think that there's only so much you can do anymore. And either you get over and you're on the roster and you're put in good positions, or you don't get over and you're not put in good positions. I don't know. So we'll see. Rey Fenix, like I said, I think debuting. Shout out to Jeff Miller. Thanks for joining, brother. Last headline. This is a big one because I think it goes to, it's a headline, but we're going to talk just kind of a little bit about it. Booker T versus Swerve Strickland in the Vlad TV shenanigans. Here's the big thing, man. We're looking for, wrestling is so popular that we're just looking for anything to talk about, right? Anymore. Like that's kind of how it is on the internet. But we're also in this like bubble in wrestling. Do I care if Booker T was on Vlad TV? No, I don't. Do I care if Swerve Strickland was fired for whatever? Nope, I don't, because he's a star now and I don't give a shit. Do I care if AJ Francis has an opinion about all of it and tags on? Nope, don't care. I think it's so stupid that we're trying to do shoot interviews across companies right now, and we're taking things out of context, and headlines are put on stupid shit, and it gives a reason for SRS to tweet something dumb, or for AJ Francis to pile on, or for Booker T to have to say some shit. All of it, brother, is nothing to do with wrestling. It is dirt sheet fodder. This is some shit you would see back in the day on the dirt sheets. Like, I don't know, man. For me, I don't get it. Like, y'all are all eating. Why are we talking about each other? Like, I in no way, let me put this in perspective. If I was drag racing and I ran, NHRA, and I'm a top fuel drag racer, and someone is a top fuel driver in IHRA, we are not doing the same thing. We are doing 2 different things, and it doesn't matter. We are not connected. So why are they talking about each other? I understand that Vlad's whole thing is part of that. That's what they do. It's shoot interviews, so they have headlines and stuff like that. But for me, man, it made for a lot of Twitter, and I hated all of it. What say you, man?
Dude, I'm completely on the same page. I'm going to start off by saying Vlad TV just sucks, dude. I mean, everything he does, he is the I would say almost originator of clipping.
Oh yeah,
clipping stuff.
Oh yeah, he's been the clickbait guy. He knows how to make a headline and get clicks for sure.
Yes. I guess the reason for that, and maybe it's the same way, artists release singles and then put them on the album to get those plays for that to count. But he clips every single interview he does to like 10-minute clips before he puts it out. And it's super annoying. It's all, just clickbait bullshit trying to get you to watch it. Yep. And other than that, it's like Booker T and Swerve going back and forth. I don't care about it. Swerve saying that, WWE holds black wrestlers down, where, over the years, we've definitely seen some cases of that. And if anybody knows that, I feel like it probably should be Booker T, because he definitely got dealt a shitty hand, a few different times.
Yeah, I mean, losing to Triple H is the number one thing. That's the thing, is I think I get Swerve's point too. And I didn't watch the whole interview. I watched enough long of it where I didn't see the clip. I saw the actual interview, but I didn't watch the whole thing. But to Swerve's point too, obviously I'm not in that situation, and neither are there's not a single fan out there who's in that situation. So that's where people are jumping on sides and all this shit, but it's really just between Swerve and Booker T, and like having that conversation. And like I think that I'll tell you this though, it came out at the right time because everybody talking about Swerve Strickland headlining AEW Dynasty, so like maybe it did work out in his favor, in the right thing. But like you said, man, it's all clickbait bullshit to get people to jump, Maybe
and I feel like me personally, I feel like if maybe Swerve did get dealt a shitty hand and NXT main roster, whatever. But I do feel, of course, different regime. I feel like it's a little bit more inclusive now. I may be wrong, but I do feel like if Swerve was doing the type of work that he is now in NXT, I feel like they would be light years almost ahead of AEW.
They were. See, that's the thing is I think that like. Him as a character hasn't, obviously he's got Prince Nana, an incredible entrance song, but I thought Hit Row was a great song. Hit Row. I thought that entrance was good too. So like for me, I think the one thing that sucks for Swerve is everything's taken out of context as to what he says, right? Nothing's like, he didn't say fuck AJ Francis and all that. He just says like, hey, this is what was perceived. And again, like I said, I think, could he have chose different words or whatever? Probably. Are they beat? I don't know. But like you said, man, I just don't think. I think it's just starting something to start something to a little bit on the internet, and it just went way farther than I thought it would go on the internet. Like damn, all right.
Like I said, he definitely went on the best place for it. I mean, if you want somebody to give you a viral clip, an interview, definitely, and especially if you're involved in the hip hop world.
Sure. 1,000%. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to talk about it anyway. But yeah, Booker T and Swerve. Hopefully they squashed it all and it all went forward. I did see Vlad was trying. Who's got the biggest wrestling podcast? Why'd you have a wrestler on your podcast if you don't know about wrestling? I hate that shit so much. Like that's so cornball bullshit. All right.
And did you see the stuff that he was going at Booker T about him hanging out with a sex offender or something like that?
So I did. So that whole thing too, and I saw Booker defended himself. Like, look, I get paid to go teach. Look, the fact that Chasen Rice or Rance or whatever that dude's name is still in the industry, like that's a negative to all. He should be in jail. He is a convicted pedo. Like, that's not even rocket science to me. So, like, all that shit is not that Booker T, whatever. It's not his job to know that either. But it is his job a little bit to know the business, to be like, yeah, sorry, dog, I can't help you. But, like, there's a lot going on over there. That's a whole nother conversation, too. But, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how people who are fucking, I don't know how weirdos continue to be involved in life at all. Weird shit, but... All right, AEW Dynasty is this Sunday, man. Are you first off? Are you and your brother getting together to watch it, or what's the plan?
I don't know. No, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I don't know what his plans are, but I'm definitely gonna tune in. Hopefully,
we're excited. To it all. Yeah, I know we got the 2 for deal, the last one. I think this is the last one we're doing on Triller. I think we're moving over to Prime maybe, or I forget the other service, but yeah. So we bought the double, myself and Art. And so we'll give it a go on Sunday, but let's get into it. It's the pick'em here first. Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart for the Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match. I think this ought to be a good match. Look, man, I think Mercedes is doing a great job right now. I think she's exceptional. I think she's really enjoying wrestling. She's at the top of her game in matches. Her matches are going really, really well. I also really like Julia Hart and her character and all that stuff. So, but I'm going to go Mercedes. I just don't think Mercedes loses. She needs to eventually, but I just don't think she loses right now.
Yeah, I think she's going to, continue to stay on a roll, definitely beat Julia Hart. I do like how they're definitely adding these these matches to the pay-per-view.
I think so too.
To make it, to make the tournament feel important, to fill up some slots. I guess they don't probably really need to fill up slots on the pay-per-view, right. But to put some good matches on there with a little bit of meat, I'm really enjoying that. But I definitely think Mercedes takes it for sure.
Yeah, that's a good thing to put. Yeah, putting the matches on the pay-per-view should be good. I don't think it'll be on 0 Hour. I think it'll be on the main show. This right here match is unbelievable. I can't even believe we're going to get to witness this. Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. Let me preface this for all. If you're listening to the podcast and you like wrestling, this match right here, Kevin Knight and we talk all about. I didn't get into the whole like dirt sheet thing about Kevin Knight. People saying like, oh, he got signed up. They wanted him to do a tryout with WWE, and AEW just signed him. And I'm not getting into all that because I don't know the real truth. But I do know that we're getting Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight at the pay-per-view first round match for the Owen Hart tournament. Kevin Knight and Will Ospreay. Who you picking?
I'll be honest, I don't know much about Kevin Knight.
Man.
I have, of course, I saw the match with him and Ospreay teaming up last night, and he was just on Collision too, right?
Yeah, he made his debut. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Super impressive. I mean, like you said,
dude,
he's
so
wrestling
good.
101 right there. But man, him and Ospreay, they're gonna definitely tear the house down, and I think he'll probably take it.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this is that there's no other matches on the card quite like this. Obviously, you have the three-way with we'll talk about the triple threat, but there's no other matches like this where you have to compare like there was the last pay-per-view where you're trying to pick between which of these actual that type of thing. This is going to be the match you're talking about. Kevin Knight also so good with Kushida in New Japan. I really thought he would sign with New Japan and like lead but I think he wants to be a main event guy. Like, I don't think, then that's the thing. I think when you're IWGP junior heavyweight, it's treated differently in Japan. And so I think that's tough, but happy to see him in AEW. So I'm going to go Ospreay, but Ospreay takes L's better than anybody and bounces back. So I would like to see Kevin Knight like be put in a top position, because when they bring these people in, sometimes they win, but then they'll end up losing. And I don't really know the booking side of it, but as long as the matches are good, I don't really look at people losing that much. It doesn't bother me. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go Will Ospreay.
I will say, as far as the Owen Hart Cup, isn't the winner? Are they still getting the shot at All In?
Yes.
Okay, so in that case, I think Ospreay probably.
Yeah, I think you have to do Ospreay. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I forgot completely about that.
Okay. Up next, the Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree. I'll tell you, man, I love Brian Keith. I really do. I hated his Jericho clothing. I liked him better in his headhunter deal or bounty hunter. Yeah, bounty hunter gimmick. I also think Bill could be a star, man, if he could. I don't know. They just got to get away from Jericho and all that shit. But yeah, for the tag titles, Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree. Who you picking?
Definitely the Hurt Syndicate. I feel like I feel like it's probably beyond 0 hour, because I feel like there's no chance that Lee and Big Bill, I guess we'll call him. I don't see them anyway beating.
Yeah, I think the Hurt Syndicate should just run through people for like a year, in my opinion, as like a tag team, because they haven't really done a great job with their tag team division right now. I think they should just run through people. But all right, next, Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole. This is for the TNT title. No time limit and no outside interference permitted, which is super weird that it's in there. But Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole. What about you?
I think I'm gonna go with Daniel Garcia. I did, since you mentioned that's where his home's at pretty much now, is on Collision. Yeah, I did tune in and check it out a little bit this weekend, and to see him going, cutting that promo on Adam Cole about him challenging him in the ring there, I thought it was really good. And you can definitely tell that Daniel Garcia is definitely coming into his own and definitely finding himself, and he definitely feels a lot more. It feels like he feels a lot more comfortable when he's talking on the mic. So I'm really enjoying a lot of what he's doing now. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Garcia.
Yeah. Before I make my pick, do you think AEW would benefit from separating the two rosters, one for Collision and one for Dynamite?
Absolutely. I mean, we both know that there's way too many people on the roster anyway, and honestly, you could probably split them up and still cut some people and be just fine.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you saw, but Orange Cassidy got hurt, and Jay White's also hurt.
I did see Jay White. I didn't. Of course, they mentioned it last night. I did see where it's not going to be like a long type. According to what
Cassidy
I saw online,
supposedly tore a pec. I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know if that's just what I saw on the internet. So, I think so too. I think that they should separate the rosters, but they should have the world champion go back and forth. And then who's ever challenging the world champion can go back and forth for that week or those couple weeks before the pay-per-view. But that's a personal thing. All right, up next, the one match I absolutely do not want to see: Chris Jericho versus Bandito, title versus mask. I love Bandito. I'll tell you this. I love Bandito. I think the thing that's tough with luchadors is that sometimes luchadors try to do luchador shit with guys who can't do luchador shit, like Chris Jericho, and that happens a lot. You see that in
20
Mexico.
Years ago.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Jericho's still Jericho, but like that the vortex right now is not powerful. I'm gonna go Bandito, and I think he wins the Ring of Honor title. I also think like this is a good way to get Ring of Honor on TV, but like they got to figure out what they're doing with Ring of Honor as a whole too, because they're not treating it separately, and it's just kind of convoluting, and it just seems like they have title belts for no reason. So that's a little confusing to me, but I'm going Bandito. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Bandito is going to win. I do feel like when you're, especially a title versus mask match, I feel like you really got to make a big commitment to take a mask off of somebody. And I just don't see it happening.
And if you don't want those WCW thoughts, if you don't want people saying that shit, then you absolutely do not take the mask off of Bandito.
Yeah, and like you said about Ring of Honor, I really do feel like they haven't done shit since Tony Khan bought them. I feel like honestly at this point, I feel like there is indie promotions that I hear are more popular, more successful than what Ring of Honor is.
He bought it. Look, I don't know if this is true, but if I was making an assumption based on regular information that's available, readily available information, he bought it because he wants the library. And he wanted All In. That's what he wanted, the All In. Like he needed the original All In.
Oh, the name?
No, he wanted he didn't own the footage.
Oh,
so he
okay.
had to buy.
Yeah.
See, that's why. So my understanding is that he paid for that. But Ring of Honor was. I cannot stress this enough. If you didn't watch Ring of Honor back in the day, but Ring of Honor was such a lifeblood to everybody you see now in WWE at the top wrestled in Ring of Honor.
For sure.
Their producers wrestled in Ring of Honor. Like, I don't think people quite understand how great it was, and I understand we're talking like from a nostalgia perspective, but it was that good. And it's tough right now because it's so bad, and I don't know it's not that it's bad. It's just I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah. And honestly, I would say, of course, it's, you can compare it in two different ways, kind of two different styles. But I mean, GCW is killing.
GCW is the new Ring of Honor, it feels like.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. Death Riders versus Rated FTR. I guess. I'll be honest. There are certain things, obviously, and I could say the same thing about WWE. There are certain things AEW does that I'm just like so confused. What are we fucking doing? This is one. Get rid of the trios titles. No one wants them. I don't know a single person who's like, damn, you know what I'm excited for? 6-man tag action. I don't know. None of my friends are. But I do love FTR. So I do think, obviously, they've been teasing the whole thing with FTR. I don't know if y'all saw the FTR match with O'Reilly and them that's been going around on the internet, the clips where it was pretty bad wrestling. You're just like, some people have an off night. Botching is part of wrestling. I'm going to go FTR, though, because I think the Death Riders thing is ending. I hope, at least.
Yeah, I kind of do, too. But honestly, man, I do think the Death Riders will probably win. And the only thing that I hope to see come out of this match at all is the whole thing that they got going on as far as the little bit of tension there in FTR.
Yeah.
I hope they push that and further that a little bit. And I think that could potentially cause them to lose.
Damn, a Dax and Cash singles run would be kind of cool, but only as like a feud with each other. Like, because I think obviously we've seen when Cash got hurt with that injury, right, where he tore the tendon in the turnbuckle thing. And Dax had to wrestle all those singles matches. And I was like, fuck, I forgot how much I love FTR and Dax. Like, I love it. So that might be cool.
Yeah, I think that, like, that's really all that I'm looking for out of that match. Yeah. If I care less who wins, but I hope they do continue to further that a little bit, because it's been really interesting. The stuff with, Dax pushing him down and the whole thing last night on Dynamite, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. So you're picking Death Riders to win?
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Death Riders.
Okay. All right, the triple threat. I think this match is going to be probably match of the night. I do think that Kevin Knight and Will Ospreay might be close, but I think this is going to win. Kenny Omega, Ricochet, Speedball. I'm going to go Kenny because I don't think they take the title off of him right away. And I think they build to something with Ricochet and Speedball as like a rivalry type of thing or a feud for maybe the next pay-per-view. So I'm going to go Kenny Omega here.
Yeah, I think Kenny definitely takes it. I don't see them taking the belt off of him this soon. And I mean, of course, Ricochet's hot. Speedball just got there. But I don't see either one of them taking it off of them. But definitely really excited. It's going to be a hell of a match between that match and then the Ospreay match. I mean, you could have a pay-per-view with just those two there.
You know, I wonder how they're going to get involved with Kenny, because I do think that they're going to go to Kenny versus Kazuchika at All In or All Out. I think it's going to be awesome. Obviously, I'm a huge Okada fan, and Omega's their Wrestle Kingdom stuff is 3 of the best matches you'll ever see ever. So I'm interested to see how they go to that. I think it'll be cool.
And of course, we all know how the internet stuff is, but I've been seeing that they want to combine those titles.
Yeah.
So of course,
that'd be sick
too. That'd be a
great
way to do it.
If they could just look, man, if they could just go with like 5 titles, just 5 is enough. And I understand. I think that what they should do is, I think Mercedes should fight this next person here. Mercedes and Toni Storm should fight, and they should combine those 2 titles, the women's titles, at All Out. I think that would be their best bet. I think that those are a way. I think Tony's maybe the best women's storyteller right now in wrestling, potentially. So I don't see why not. But yeah, so Timeless Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne.
Man, I feel like this one's going to be a toss-up. I feel like it could go either way. But as a huge Toni Storm fan, I definitely want her to. And I feel like she doesn't even need the belt to continue as over as she is.
But I don't think they give it to Megan right away, right?
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I mean, man, I don't know much about her, but she looks like a freaking star.
Yeah, she is. I tell you, the only thing wrong with her is that she dates Joey Janela. Like, what just terrible taste in men.
Jesus, man, I just want to know how somebody like Joey Janela is getting with Megan Bayne, and then he was with
Penelope Ford for a long time. Yeah, he was also with the other girl that was signed to she was signed to NXT and AEW at one point. I forget her name. Yeah, Joey Janela's got a hell of a track record with the worst teeth in wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. Dude. I might have to take a couple light tubes or something, you know? Crazy.
All right, main event, though. It's Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Yeah, I was saying, you'll laugh at this. I said something to Casey earlier, and I was like, I said something, and she was like, whose house? And I was like, hell yeah, she gets it. That's how you know someone's over if she's saying it. Who you got here? Swerve or Jon?
Man, I do feel like Swerve takes it. I feel like it could go either way, though. I feel like there's going to be some bullshit that happens at the end. But I do hope that. I feel like, of course, the Death Riders are going to get involved, all of them.
I just don't see how Swerve isn't the world champion. I mean, I don't know, man. I
feel like they made a mistake by taking it off of him. I feel like that he should still have it.
Yeah, I get the whole thing with Danielson, but at the same time, like, do I get the whole thing with Danielson? I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I'm picking Swerve here, man. I do think there's gonna be some bullshit, but I think Swerve wins. I think Paige helps him win.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool. I was really expecting Paige to come back through the curtain last night. After they separated, after the Death Rider started, beating up on him.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I feel like Hangman's just gonna come back in at any time.
Yeah, I think that they should do. I think they should do Swerve and Hangman Iron Man match, at All Out.
Dude, that'd be a hell of a match. Yeah. And then, I mean, they're before, and I mean, even the little conversation that they had there in the back last night
was great. They did a great job. Great job.
Yeah, dude. Their storytelling, I feel like, of course, they could improve in some angles, but of course, so could WWE. But
that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at it, dude, like someone, Mario said this in the chat. He's like AEW be the only company where they do exactly what you told them to do. They got more character driven, and now you're telling them they're too character driven.
Yeah, and that's the thing, dude. It's been for me. I feel like it's been night. Storytelling. You got
2025 has been amazing. Yeah.
It's been a great year for AEW, and I feel like hopefully they continue to get better with it, and push some of the younger guys to make some new stars and really solidify themselves.
I think if you just look at the people on this card, okay, if you took just this card, you have a bunch of stars, and you still have MJF, Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, Konosuke Takeshi. You still have those guys not wrestling. Like, that's how good they still have it. And, like, you don't have to do too much more. You could do it just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have a lot going on. So, I don't know, man. Yeah.
And that's where I do feel like they could really, really benefit from that roster split.
I think
Whereas,
so too, yeah.
You're not trying to fit everything in on, a very limited amount of TV time.
Sure.
You split them up. You give, certain stars here, certain stars there. And I mean, we really saw what it did for, SmackDown and Raw back in the day, building new superstars.
Why not? And then you can use Ring of Honor as your NXT. You know what I'm saying? You guys can call them up. Treat it like the NBA. Hey, you want to call somebody up? You call them up from Ring of Honor, and they get a 10-day contract or whatever. There's a lot of ways to go about it and treat it very sports-driven to be able to do it. That's just my opinion, but interesting enough. All right, man. AEW Dynasty this Sunday, live on pay-per-view. Join us and let us know your thoughts. Next week, we'll talk all about it. All right, man. It's time for the randomizer. The random question this week is, what would be your finisher, and who would you like to feud with in any company right now? Who would be your number one feud? So as we talked about earlier, Cena with Orton is like they're like forever intertwined, right? Triple H and Shawn Michaels, forever intertwined. Bret Hart and Stone Cold, forever intertwined. All those things. Well, Bret Hart and Goldberg's, miss kick. Things like that, right? Like guys that you're tied to forever. So if you could, what would be your finisher? And then who would you feud with if you were a wrestler right now? It's like that's who you're tied to.
Man, I do feel like I would say I feel like he's got a lot of life left in his career. I would say MJF. I feel like he's so versatile. I mean, you look at the stuff he did with Adam Cole, with Jericho. I mean, they did like a freaking like a musical almost. I mean, that was
literally, it's a music number with Jericho. It's incredible.
It was awesome. And I mean, I feel like, you could do so many things creatively with someone like him. Of course, no one really knows what he's like behind the scenes. So it might be the worst day at work ever, always.
Could you imagine that? He just like ends up being the worst thing of all time, but you're forever tied. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, he just like actually lives the gimmick. He is a prick, all this, But I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying it. The finisher, dude. Did you see Logan Paul? What he busted out this week?
Yeah, it is good. I hate Logan Paul's dog shit as a human being, but he can wrestle. I'll give him that. And that finisher was cool. What do you call it? The pulverizer or something?
Yeah, dude. It's catchy. It's punny with the with the name there. Yeah. I've never seen anything like that before.
I don't know that I've never seen anybody do it. I'm sure it's been done, but it not in that level. So that makes him the doer. I'm cool with that. Yeah, it's a good finisher.
But other than that, I mean, of course, a lot of people would probably, pick some of the classics, the 5-star frog.
No. You get to do this is your thing. So yeah, I get it.
But I'm picking the pulverizer.
Yeah, the pulverizer. Yeah. Okay, I like it. Yeah, if I could feud with anybody, right now, it would be. Man, I come up with this question. I don't even know the answer. I would say either Okada or Cody because that's my obviously. I think Cody because we could go 1v1 on the mic, and we that would be an interesting take, and I would get to be the bad guy because he's the babyface, so that might be fun too to be the a-hole for a long time. And my finisher, man, it's been the same since I was a kid, dude. It's been a ripcord forearm. I always when I first started, it was a flying forearm. I always thought Luger's thing where he had the plate put in his arm, so they made him cover it up when he wrestled in WWE back in WWF back in the day. They made him cover it up. I always thought that was super cool. And I always liked the striker finisher. Obviously, the Rainmaker is like one of my favorite finishers. I love that Okada does that. But Yeah, man. The ripcord forearm. That's what I would do, or a flying forearm, but something with the forearm, just knock you out of nowhere. I love when the finisher can come out of nowhere. That's why RKO is like obviously one of the best because he can hit it at any time. Same with DDP, right? All that stuff. So, yeah, that's what I would go with. But yeah, I think I would feud with Cody. Obviously, he's my favorite wrestler, but that would just be, I think, alternate universes would be cool to play that. All right, man, we're going to look ahead here as we round out the episode. First things first, next week, I'm very excited. We are doing, and this is the first time you're hearing this, we are doing WrestleMania Jeopardy. So, we're looking for some contestants. If you would like to join us next week on the episode, let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram. Shoot me an email at AroundTheMatPod@gmail.com. Let us know if you're listening. We'd love to have you. Jeff, if you want to join us, let us know. We'd love to have your brother. But it is WrestleMania Jeopardy. And I haven't figured out what the winner gets, but there will be some sort of monetary bonus. Whether it be a gift card to WWE Shop or Pro Wrestling Tees or something wrestling related will be involved. So WrestleMania.
Gotta get the study done, man.
WrestleMania themed Jeopardy. Next week I will be hosting. I am the Alex Trebek of the chat. So join us. We would love to hear. Next week on Around the Mat Pod, next Thursday, we will be talking all things WrestleMania themed Jeopardy. So, and I'm excited about it. It should be a lot of fun. I got a little layout for us, and it should be interesting. So we're excited to talk about it. Yeah, man, we're very excited. I say we, it's just me. I'm very excited about it. I've been thinking up questions and some things leading up to it. So putting all that together should be fun. But also looking ahead, man, WrestleMania is coming up in 2 weeks. We'll be very excited to talk about that. I think just a lot of things going on there. But I'm interested to see, like I said, the post-WrestleMania, because obviously WrestleMania is the biggest, right? We know that. But I'm interested to see what it's like afterwards and see where they go from there, because it is Cena's last run. So let's say Cena doesn't win. Then what happens, right? Where are we going from there? Is The Rock going to show up to WrestleMania? Do I even give a shit? I don't. But if I did, things like that, man, there's just a lot. And then, like, where are we going afterwards? Like, what are they doing with Rhea and Charlotte and Tiffany and Bayley and the rest of the women's division in WWE and the tag team division, which sucks, other than the Street Profits? Not that it sucks. It's just lost right now, I think. So much to look forward to. And then, obviously, AEW All In this summer in Texas. So many good things, man. Just a lot going on to look forward to. And here at Around the Mat Pod, we're excited to keep it going. We hope that you guys are all excited about it as well. What are you looking forward to, man, as we are in Q2? What are you looking forward to in 2025 here in wrestling, Tyler?
So it's funny you said the Raw after WrestleMania when you sent me the notes earlier. That was a big thing. That was actually something that I jotted down just to see what that's gonna. The build is always so big.
I know.
The momentum is always so heavy moving towards. Of course, that it's a weekend now, not just the one night. But it's just really interesting to see how they reset.
Yeah.
It's really. They have an off season of maybe 12 hours, something like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be really interesting to see where they go with some of the big names, especially Cena, The Rock, how that's all going to play out, especially with his last year coming to an end quicker than we'd like to think.
Yep.
But I really hope that, especially AEW, I hope that they continue to get better with the storytelling. Hopefully dial in the roster a little bit more, focus on building some more stars up and not just, really relying on, a lot of the guys that came over from Japan, a few years ago.
Yeah.
All in. I'm trying to, if money's right and
should we
try to make the trip
should we drive? Should we drive? It's in Fort Worth. It's 10 hours for me. If you can get to me, what weekend is it this year?
I'm not exactly sure. I think is in late July, I think.
I know. Is it the 20th? I forget what weekend it is. We'll see. If you make it here, man, we might do it. If you can make it to Nashville, we can make it to Dallas.
I was thinking about it.
10-hour drive from here.
Yeah, man. I was even thinking about it last year, of course. I was like, man, I just can't do a plane over the pond. But yeah, it's definitely something I've thought about. Really excited to see you know, what kind of turnout they have for a stadium show in the States.
Man, that's the weekend of my birthday. It's July 12th this year. And depending on, there's a race that normally happens that week, but that race track is supposedly for sale, so things may change. If it happens and it gets moved, we will do it. If you make it to Nashville, we can make it to Dallas. We can do it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. I'm definitely definitely looking into it for sure. And, you know, we can talk more about it. But I think it's going to be an awesome show. You know, that we've seen how they build up to All In. Every pay-per-view they have is great.
Yeah, I have yet to see a miss on a pay-per-view, really.
Yeah, so I don't think, of course, that one will be any different, especially at a much larger scale.
Yeah.
But the whole wrestling world as a whole, I'm just super excited for it. Just continuing to keep growing, getting better. You know, and just keep buying merch and keep being a bigger fan.
Same, man. Same. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining us here at Around the Map Pod, episode 11. Season 2 here. We're going to keep it moving until next time. Next week, don't forget WrestleMania Jeopardy is happening here at Around the Map Pod. Until next time, when we go around the mat.